Welcome to the podcast of All Means All. In this episode, Dror Simri, Ines Boban and Linjie Zhang will talk about mentoring.
Mentoring is a term we hear a lot in different fields, but actually it was until today not defined in one definition. We would like to introduce a mentoring model that was formed in Israel in the Democratic School of Hadera. The Democratic School is a democratic school, but also an inclusive school, so it should fit our purpose. The model that was formed in a democratic school is named dialogic mentoring. Dialogic mentoring is a humanistic existential challenge, a call for a change in relations between pupils, children, students, and teachers as a new pedagogical approach. In a few words, I will try to sum it up, and then in the video and in the text, I hope you will get the general idea and the basics of this mentoring model. So what is dialogic mentoring about? Dialogic mentoring challenges power relations between children and grown-ups as they exist today, especially their effects on what happens in school, on the atmosphere of school, of learning attitude in school. And basically what it does, it aims to see children as whole, complete, sovereign human beings. Dialogic mentoring is about the will to see the people around us, but to see them in their full human beings, having the courage to do that. Dialogic mentoring is about having the will to hear what people, but children around us have to say. But it's a very special kind of hearing. It's not just hearing the words, it's hearing what is behind the words, what is around the words, and also what is not said but is very implicit if you listen hard. Dialogic mentoring is about agreeing to be a witness to what children experience, a witness to what they do, a witness to what they think and what are their goals, witnessing without judgment and without criticism. Dialogic mentoring is about a real deep wanting to connect to each other, at what age we might be, connecting to each other, even though, and that's an important point, even though we understand that it will not be possible for us to completely understand the experience of what's happening to the other, but still having the big and deep wanting to connect. Dialogic mentoring is about accepting the complexity of things, of complexity of life, understanding nothing is good or bad, nothing is black and white, everything is very, very complex, and especially when dealing with children, there's always something there in the child that wants to be found, that wants to be heard, that wants to be understood and recognized. And understanding that as grown-ups who chose to work with children, it is our duty to do all our best to find those gifts which children have inside them. Gifts that will be given to us only if we will do the effort to find them and to let them come out. This is why we think it's very important that in the curriculum, or part of it, or even a small part of it, there will be time dedicated for this kind of relations to take place. When it happens, and when we concentrate on one another, when we concentrate to see the children as whole human beings, when we don't take all our time to impose authority, when we don't take all our time to inflict discipline, when we don't use manipulations, where we are able, strong enough, and have the courage to be authentic, something very magical happens. What appears and what builds the relations are acceptance, empathy, altruism, and love. And this evokes a huge possibility of growth. When these kind of relations exist in school, these kind of relations between staff and children, teachers and students, what usually enhances is the ability to learn, the ability to find interest, the ability to understand. People in that situation, not just the students, also the grown-ups, feel safe. Students are able to build confidence. Teachers are able to build confidence. And children and teachers have to understand that it's possible for them to shape their reality. Many times in this situation, children say that it's easier for them to find out what they really want to do. It enables them to determine what is important to them, and it's easier to achieve it. So, dialogic mentoring is a state of being. It's a state of being that a lot of time has many moments of joy. It has deep feeling of connection and a deep, meaningful feeling of existence. If you sum it all up, you will see that in all, it's putting human rights into action. I hope you'll join the video and our chapter.
Okay. So for me, I think my relevant, although I'm not majoring in this area, but my relevant experience is that I have a sort of mentoring experience during my master's study. So we have the students who have already graduated from this program, and then they come back to be our mentor, and then we students who are studying is mentee. So we just basically to ask them about our confusion of the study and like how the coursework is going and what is assignment should expected to have. And as a mentor, I think their main role, rather than being a part of our life, is to answer mainly about our confusions of the schoolwork or university stuffs. So this is my experience about the mentoring, and now we are just come here and to redefine this term, and we considering what is the mentoring actually should be, and how do you feel like the term of mentoring and what is mentor could be. Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's the same confusion I feel.
Yeah.
Because when I still was a schoolgirl, I also had a tutor, and I was a tutant, so tutie. Yeah. And when I was for years working in a comprehensive school as a special ed teacher in a so-called integrated class, my work was, as I felt, a lot like what we are discussing now as mentoring. But I didn't know the term. I just felt like I'm supporting, or I'm caring about, and I'm trying to find out. So a lot of my activities, I think, will fit to what you did all these years. But I did, before some years, I didn't even know the term. But visiting democratic schools, getting in touch with teachers who are active there, and that they told me about their mentoring, it made me so curious. And so, yeah, that's the reason why I'm really happy that we can change our knowledge, our experience, or about this term.
Okay. So I'm here because for about 26 years I worked in a democratic school in Israel, in the town of Hadera, which was the first democratic school in Israel. And to make things short, for all these years I was a mentor, and for 16 of those years I was the mentor's mentor. But mainly I think I'm here because I had a great opportunity to be part of the group that led all the staff of the school in a process that took about 5 years to understand what is mentoring for us. It was around when the school was already 10 years old. There were mentors from the beginning, but at the beginning nothing was understood and formulated. Everything was intuitive. And then we stopped and we went through this process, which we decided to do ourselves, not to bring experts from the outside. And we broke all the words, all the things that have to do with mentoring. From what is a child, what is a grown-up, what is learning, what is supporting, what is empathy. We listen to other explanations of all these terms, but we made, at the end, our own terminology.
Yeah.
And I'm here because I think that what happened is that we found mentoring to be an unbelievable human experience. And I would like to share it. It's a good reason?
Super reason.
Of course.
And you're also here, Dror, because
you invited me?
Yeah, because I thought it's good if you come with your lots of experience, and it's a treasure we can share. I think maybe I'm putting too much, I don't know, expectation on if I say so, but for me, it seems as if when we say all for all and inclusive school, we only, I'm now a little bit like, we only can have an inclusive school if we change the role of teachers being or helping them to become mentors. Because otherwise, lots of important things to know about the situation, the context of the children, the learners, the students, will be left out.
From your experience, what was mentoring that you had?
Before I come to the job in the discussion, I thought mentoring is just about, there is someone who can provide you some kind of guidance and who can be a sort of leader in some specific way, and then give you some knowledge about what do you need to do or how you can do. But now I think this is just as you said, the tutor, the term tutor is actually the same way. So I just confused. Okay, now I think the more important thing for a mentor for me is like they could be a part of someone, be a part of my life, and to give me the guidance. Like rather than tell me what I need to do, is to give me the motivation. And to show me, okay, probably you can have this kind of potentiality, and then to achieve these things that you want, and to find out, okay, who I am and why I'm here and what I want to do. By give me the motivation to find out all of this about myself. Yeah.
I wondered about that because when you said she gives me the motivation, I wondered if she gives you the motivation to learn, or you expect her or would like that she will give you, help you find the motivation inside yourself.
I think it's the second one. Yeah, for me now it's the second one after I graduate from the study, and I find out there is more important things in my life, rather than only the study about the knowledge. Is about my enthusiasm, where my enthusiasm and where is my passion. So how could I be an active agent in the society and what I want to be? This is, I think, more important. So now I have a question. We discussed about what is mentor and what is mentoring. So I'm wondering, what is mentor have to do with inclusion, and why is the key element in the pedagogy that is granted in the human rights? How do you think?
But is it okay if I go a little bit back?
Yeah, sure, of course. We can always go back at any time.
About what we learned to think about mentoring in our school?
Yeah.
Okay, because I think that what we established at the end was a new educational role, which deals with support. It deals with accompanying, having somebody accompany you, and having sometimes somebody to safeguard you. Okay, and mainly it's about focusing on relations, because a lot of what happens today in schools is focused on learning formal information.
Exactly, some specific things.
One time you do it with computers, on peer learning or that kind of learning, but relations between grown-ups and youngsters in school remain with power relations really like that. The teachers have the power and the students are far below. And the second thing is that this forms a barrier between the grown-ups and children. Now, this barrier is cultural. What we learned from our experiences is not much difference. Not really a good difference between grown-ups and children. But the barrier is there for some reason that keeps us apart. And the mentoring is something is supposed to make the power relations more even and to take the barrier and throw it aside.
Oh, I see.
Okay?
Yeah.
And this is very important because from years of mentoring and working as a family and couple therapist, I learned that when you talk to people, where are your a lot of your pains come from? They say, I was not seen. I was not seen. I was fed. I was clothed. I had a bed. But I was not seen. I was not seen as a whole human being. The teacher told me at third grade, let's make an art exhibition. Choose 3 pictures you like. And I chose them. And then she said, oh no, this is not good. No, this one, let's take this one. And this little thing is a pain you take all your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
No big trauma. Well, just, but it goes with you all your life. So I think this is another thing that is in mentoring, trying to acknowledge the existence as a whole human being of each one in school, not just the children, the teachers, the cleaners, if there's a guard at the gate, the guard. Trying to do that.
And for me, this is the example or the answer also to the question, why is it so relevant, so essential for creating an inclusive context and inclusive situation? Something which is connected, like you now described it in the practice, with the dignity of children or of all these people who create one place called school. It's about their dignity, really to be seen and not to be judged or to be handled somehow for let's do this, let's do that, and I will give you some grades and that's it. it's really a difference. And for me, if I just cluster the term of what does mentoring in its essence say, for me it's the most explicit way of being in a relationship of resonance.
Yeah.
It's not that we all, in any case, have some resonance situation, but we create a certain way of being in a resonance, telling each other something or asking about your consciousness of who, as you said, who am I, what is my intention, what would I like to do, and to see the whole picture of who's Linjie and what's the luggage she carries around.
Yeah.
And on this base, it's not about guidance, no, it's about finding out together what will you now, what could be another intention too, or what's your real intention, what's the intention of your mother, of your father, and then it can also be very uncomfortable, I think, because resonance sounds so positive, but I think there are situations which are not comfortable in when you are a mentor.
It's not comfortable to have a student tell you that he's being hit at home. There's violence, or that he was, or that he was sexually abused, or that he thinks there's no point in his life. But if you don't talk about it, it's still there. If you say, let's learn mathematics now, that's all, we're doing mathematics today. But these 3 children, that one was abused violently and sexually, and one thinks, there's no point in my life, they're here with a problem. You just faded away.
I really like your what you mentioned is to remove the power from the education or from even the whole human life. Like we are, I think for me, I'm really eager to be active participants. Like no matter where I am in the school, in the society, and in my family, I just want to be like active rather than someone, as you said, someone like are told you need to choose this picture or not. And then for me, during this process, I think it's also relevant to the human rights, as you mentioned about the inclusive. So if I can be active, and that's mean I have the chance to allot like my opinion, to engage in the dialogue, and to participating in the decision-making process. So in this way, I think I'm just to feel I have the true agent of myself, and I can really make some difference, even not only about myself and about the bigger society and the community. I'm the active one. I can do something and I can change something. Actually, I'm not who are in the school and always follow all the mathematics, chemistry. This is also some positive knowledge, but for me the more important thing is that when we face something especially nowadays, the huge change in on the earth, our society, there are so many things are happening. So for me, the important thing within the education system is to tell the children or students they need to be active to make change and to make positive efforts to where they are living, where they exist. So this is also mentoring to they can also be agents, say to distribute this kind of human rights idea to the following generations, so the world can happens in a better way, in the future. So that's why I think it's really nice to have this opinion of remove the power and just being the individual that you can be and you could be, how active you are. Yeah.
I will add to that. I use a lot the metaphor from grammar of subject and object. In a sentence, you always have a subject and an object. The subject is the main part. He has a will. He has ideas. He wants to go somewhere. Okay? The object is something you manipulate just to get the subject what he wants. Okay? So how can we make everybody in school a subject, that nobody will be an object, okay? Because if I'm now a teacher and I say, look, maybe you're very sad because your dog died or your grandfather died, or maybe you don't know if you're homosexual, heterosexual, male, woman, and it really bothers you. Let's learn mathematics now. and I make you an object, but when I make you an object, I make myself an object as a teacher. I'm an object also of somebody up there or behind me that told me, teach him mathematics. And if we succeed in making a society of subjects, not of objects, maybe what you talked about can happen.
Yeah, hopefully.
And I would like to underline this. When we came here and started to talk, also there was something frightening me, because I think, the situation, like you mentioned it, of the climate change and all the trouble teachers already have, because they are so much like treated like objects by the society, telling them what to do and taking so many children and pressing out the notes and all and there are not enough teachers in so many parts of the world, and people who are leading schools don't want to lead schools anymore. So how can we come now with the idea of mentoring? I felt like, it's not the right moment. But on the other side, I would underline what you said. If we have to change things we did before in the subject of how we treat this earth, it's also good to know that we can't go on doing
we have to change
school.
treating ourselves, you know.
Yeah, we have to change ourselves and the relationships between adults and children, teachers and students. So why don't we start there? We have good reasons to say everybody will benefit if we come back to the state of being a subject and finding our dignity and being seen. And I remember you said that when we discussed, it's the will of being a witness. And I think it's something very essential, like Saint-Exupéry, he said, I think, you are a person, or you belong to the mankind if you feel ashamed if somebody doesn't feel good, even if you are not the cause of it. So it's very old. It's an old knowledge that we all feel better if everyone feels better. And I think mentoring is kind of a expression, an attitude of, I think I want to know how you feel. Do you feel all right in this situation? And how can we together find the way that you can feel better? Maybe it causes that we will have some things against the decision of your parents or the grandmother or something. Can you bear it? Will you stand it? Or who can help you to find other solutions than your parents planned for you, or something like this? Also, this is already maybe a huge discomfort, because you're not cannot be completely loyal to all the others who wants you to be a certain person.
Yeah, true.
But to find back to what kind of a person can I develop or expand, I think, so this is what I understand.
But you know, being loyal to a family or to a culture is sometimes something very important.
Yeah, also this.
It's not always that going against it, but there was something else I wanted to sometimes when a student tells me about feeling depression or pain, I don't think I have to find a way to go out of it. I think we should acknowledge it.
Yeah.
We should be able to be witnessing his position and being with him in the pain, in the confusion. Because when we acknowledge the pain, the confusion, it's part of life.
Yeah, it's a
It's part
topic.
of life.
It's a
And
lifelong topic.
It's something he will meet everywhere. But if he will find a teacher who is willing to be with him or her in that moment, not being frightened, not throwing it away, not saying, oh, everything is going to be okay, don't worry. No, let's be there, it's important.
And what you said, I think this is important to underline for newcomers in the field of pedagogy. It's also frightening, but to stay the frightness. I remember a little girl telling me about what goes on at her home, and that the brother of her father is raping her. But she said, don't tell nobody about it, because if my father knows, he will kill his brother, and then it will be even more trouble. A 12-year-old girl said so. And then I sat there like, oh my God, I need help. It's frightening to receive certain situations, and even the advice of a little girl or that she commands and says, don't tell anybody else. And then, of course, I asked for some help from others and got some support. It's also important that we are sometimes the ones who need support to stand, to believe the child, but not fall into a kind of a super action.
Oh, don't provide the solution that we think need to provide to them. We just, I think although I've never been a mentor to someone actually, but I think it's very important to allow everything happen and to allow who they are and what they want. And then I think it's also related to the term we want to discuss, is what is mentoring in an inclusive education. So in this inclusive environment, we should allow every case, every type of students, and every situation happen to us. So what do you think about the term of inclusive and the term we're discussing about mentoring?
I think that for me, why is it especially important for inclusive schools?
Yeah.
Is the term that, I don't know if it's a valid English term, I'm not sure, but I will say otherness. Like, I like the term otherness because it points out that each one of us is another human being, is other, completely other. This is something we also took from Martin Buber, but saying that each one of us is unique. Each one of us is one of a kind.
Yeah.
Each one of us is something that never existed, does not exist, or will never exist. Even if we all have same organs. No, we don't have the same organs.
Yeah.
But
True.
And a lot of times when you say inclusive schools, you say, those are the black and those are the white. Those are the crippled and those are not crippled. But when you say, the fact that you're blind or white or black or Muslim or Christian, or does not identify you.
Yeah.
What identifies each one of you, even if you walk and even if you see, even if you're in the right color, I don't know what the right color is, what defines you is your being a unique human being, once in a life, in a existence of the world, human being.
Yeah.
And then I told Frank yesterday that my grandson, who learned at the Democratic School in Hadera, had the best friend when he was 4 years and entered, was a black child. And one day when I took him back home, he told me, he's blacker than me. And I said, no, you're whiter than him. And he said, no, he's blacker than me. I said, no, you're whiter than him. And he said, you know what, grandfather? He's blacker and I'm whiter. And I think this is what can happen in inclusive schools, because the idea of inclusion will go deeper.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
And Dror, I remember you saying also that this example, what you now gave again to us, is telling that it's sometimes more important to talk with the one who is one of the majority, then to think it's very important now, it can be very important for everybody, but this example stands also for there's a majority thinking in a certain way about others, and in the mentoring process it can mean to bring in consciousness about these facts. And also you gave us an example which I liked so much about a teacher who asked you, you really want me to talk to a 13-year-old girl? What do I have as an old woman in common with 13-year-olds? And could you repeat this example? I liked it so much. You know?
Yeah, I know exactly that story.
Yeah.
It was a school where they had only group mentoring, and they started personal mentoring, and I came to help them adjust to that. And that's what she said. And I said, just a minute, are you a human being and she's a human being? She said, yes. I said, are you a female and she's a female? She said, yes. Are you sometimes in pain and she's something? She says, yes. Are you happy and she's happy sometimes? Yes. Do you have a brother and she has a brother? Yes. Do you have parents and she has? Says, so you have so much in common.
Yeah.
Do you have experience and she has experience? Yes. Does she have knowledge and you have knowledge? Yeah. Well,
is there a climate change which bothers us?
There's a lot of. You have a lot of common. He said, yeah, we have a lot of common. We have a lot in common. I think this is the taking down the power relations and throwing away the barrier to find that we have a lot in common.
Yeah. We can come to the second question. So who and how can be a mentor? Probably I think this question is also related to the connection between the mentoring and demographic school, because when we refer to the term mentoring, it's also very important to consider in the context. I think it works in different contexts differently. So from your experience, do you think it's what is the connection between the mentoring and demographic school, and how and why and how and who? Yeah.
First, I would like to say that when you ask about mentoring, I think the basic idea, and we talked about it, I just point again, that it's important that when a mentor starts his work, he will focus on who is he meeting, who is the one that is meeting, who is the mentee.
Oh, who is mentee?
Is the mentee a mission he has to bring him from one point to another point, that he knows where he is and where he wants it to be, like I said, like an object, or is the mentee a whole human being, like a subject I said before, that has, like what we talked about, has experience and has ideas and has points of view and has aims and goals. Because the minute the way I understand who is standing in front of me will change me. It will make me from an object to a subject. That's also Buber. But we won't go into it now. So if you want to be, what we understood about being a mentee is, first of all, you have to be someone who is really interested in children, their life, their stories, their fears, their ideas, really, really interested in children and their lives. I think you have to be very curious. You have to be curious and wanting to understand and wanting to know. I think you have to be very authentic with the children, not playing a part, but being yourself. Being yourself not as I'm a teacher, being yourself as a whole human being yourself. I think it's you have to have special skills. You have to have the skill to listen, but to listen to the words, to what hides behind the words, to what is even deeper behind that, to what the body is telling me. Listen very, very profoundly, very deep, and in a wide way. I think that you have to have the skill of containing. In the democratic school, the students choose the mentors. And there was one girl who asked for a mentor, a certain mentor, and she couldn't get him. And she got another one. She won. And the whole year round, she came each morning and said hello and good morning, but said, I hate you. I hate you. All the time. And he didn't know what to do with it. So we had to work, him and me together, in understanding what she actually means, or what is she trying to say, and is it something he should contain, or should he put a border and say, you can't talk with me that way? Or will it be better to contain it and understand it's nothing, it does not affect him, and she will not grow up to be an unpolite girl.
Yeah.
I won't tell the whole story. It's very interesting how it went on. We don't have time, but just to understand what is containing and how important it is. It was very important. He contained her almost all the time. There was sometimes he said, please stop now. But at the end of the year, we found that what happened to her was really, really unbelievable that year, that she could tell him the whole year, almost the whole year round, I hate you. Never mind now. I think he has to have the skill to be empathic. Empathy. He needs a lot of empathy. He needs to have the skill to come from a mentalization point of view, understanding that behavior he sees, like the girl with "I hate you," is just the end of an iceberg. That inside, the inner world is so big that the behavior is just a small reflection of what is actually there, and trying to understand what is. Knowing the inner world is so important. This is some of the skills. I've talked too much.
No. I just wanted to rely on that. We also then could say part of mentoring means that you're always interested in like Goffman says, what is going on behind the stage. Something like that. Also, that you're not just waiting the curtain to be open and then just watch what is going on the stage, knowing that there is a lot of what has happened before and what is happening behind the stage and behind the curtains when they are closed. So I think this is a strong picture, what you showed, that you accept certain behavior because you can be sure that there will be good reasons for something.
It has something to do with what you said before. This is why you talked about how it's hard for the mentor. Yeah. This is why mentoring should be learned. Yeah. And it should be learned continuously. And you should have the support of a team, of a mentor that mentors you. You should have it's a profession. It's something, it's a skill you have to learn. You have to develop and you have to maintain. And you have to have a lot of support with your colleagues and to have it, to allow it to work.
And I don't know how you think, but I think this message, which you made now, will connect to lots of minds and open hearts of young people who want to become a teacher. Because, okay, yes, of course, it's nice to be a passionate musician and you want to bring music to children or sports or anything else, arts and so on. This is always also a very good reason to do the common third thing with children. But yeah, I think to connect this with why it's important to think about mentoring, to read about it, learn about it, and really do it as a professional intention. I think it touches so much, because most of the people will say, yeah, this is to make a difference in the life of children would be the biggest gift in my profession. If it's not just bringing some certain identity with music and mathematics and writing and poetry, which is important, but really to be connected in a way that helps a child to come along with certain, maybe with a regression, as you said, and just be a witness. Alice Miller also once said it's a huge chance teachers have, because they are a third or sometimes only the second or the fourth person in the life of a child who really can witness the situation of a learner. So I guess it's something empowering for young people to hear this.
Yeah.
And what you said now automatically made me want to ask you, what is learning?
Yeah.
But not now.
Yeah.
Okay. We discuss
What is a
that
learner?
later.
What is a learner? But not now.
Sure.
I am one.
I actually have another question I want to ask. Like we discussed, I think this is also included in the benefits the mentoring could have. And I have some thoughts about the potential challenges like during the mentoring. So for me, as you've said, it's very important to be aware or to the witness of the differences and the diversity and to accept them. So I think one of the biggest challenge for me if I'm a mentor, and I think for me the important question is I need to aware of the cultural nuance. So I need to be cultural inclusive and cultural tolerant. So how do you think like a people or a teacher or mentor, whatever, like could be culture inclusively? Like, I don't know, for me this is one of the problem I want to ask to you. Yeah.
First of all, I think there's supposed to be respect towards other cultures. It's easy to say, don't judge, don't criticize, be open. But then we talked about how about circumcision to women, or to men, or how can I be a mentor and hear behaviors or ideas that I cannot acknowledge. I'm completely against them. They even seem not moral to me. Michael White, who was, I never knew him personally, he's already deceased, but he was one of the founders of narrative therapy. When he graduated from social work, he was put in a prison, and the first prisoner he had to meet raped. And he said, how am I going to talk with him? I am against how he raped a woman, or many women. I can't. And he didn't sleep all night. And then he came to the solution. And the next morning, he came and he told him, I know you've raped. I cannot accept that in any way. Tell me something about you that I can accept. There's, I don't know if the story is good, if you understood what I mean. I mean that if you work with somebody, if you're completely atheist and you have somebody very religious as a mentee and his family is very religious, it's very easy to see the conflict, but the conflict we have nothing to do with the conflict. Look for where there's no conflict. Look for what makes you together as human beings. Because they have conflicts just as you have conflicts. They have questions the same as yours. Not in the religious part or the cultural part that you cannot accept. It doesn't matter. We don't have to change. They don't have to change you, and you don't have to change them. But there's always, on the human level, things that can unite you, that you can talk about, that you can help them, and they can help you.
May I add something to that? Because I just made a fantastic experience in Mostar, in a very divided city. And there's one school called the Mostar Rock School. And there people meet children of others who were killing each other not more than 30 years ago. They were shooting at each other. So they divided the whole school system, and they say Bosnian language is something different than Croatian language, and so on. And they will even know because you live on this side of the river or on that, and because of your names. And in this school, they don't touch this conflict because they know it won't bring us in any constructive way, but they do rock songs together. And the challenge for everybody is to be in one band, and then they give you one song, like they were a 12-year-old and singing, "We don't need no education." And they have coaches, they don't call mentors, but the coaches, they coach the children or the youngsters so that they are constructively doing something good together and are fully in the presence. And then also, of course, they give concerts and invite the whole community. It's the only place in the city where you can relax and where this topic which divides us is not there. So I love the idea to learn from that to make a shift or a change in culture means that sometimes you do something radical, unusual, like this place, or like, because when you come to Canada, I saw so often ambitions of schools saying, you have to become an appropriate Canadian citizen, and we know how. And then they start with all the behavioristic stuff. This is how it normally works, and even in this kind of culture, I think mentoring could be a big change at some schools in some places, and I'm sure there are people who work in a mentory way and try to support children of First Nations, for example, knowing what has happened to their grandparents and parents in these terrible schools. So I think everyone who works in the field can make a difference, even if the tension is big, because the culture that surrounds all is so grabbing. But to make the dilemma transparent as the mentor, saying, okay, it won't be easy, but we can do it in another way than the majority or others do. It will take us, sometimes we do it hidden. Or in some societies where you still can have the death penalty for being a homosexual. And then you have the situation maybe that some young people will tell you about it, like I know from Iran. What can be the role of a teacher? It can really help you not to jump into the suicidal modus. So in every part of the world, we can have the quality of mentoring, even though, of course, in democratic schools, it's much more widening the possibilities, and the others are reduced, of course. As I was in my state's comprehensive school, which still was dealing with standards and so on. So the things you jump over can be very, very different.
So we already discussed about the challenging, potential challenge and benefits, and now I want to, because during our discussion we mentioned that mentoring has no aim, and now I want to ask you, what do you mean by this, mentoring has no aim?
Can I make... I think mentoring has an aim, but the mentor relationship, it has an aim, but when you're in a mentoring session,
Yeah.
when you are interacting with a mentee, you never know where it will go. You never know where the session will go. When you can start by asking why is so sad today, and it'll go to another place, to another subject, to another world. If you, it's okay that if you're stuck with your aim, with what you want to get out of it, of the session, of the relations, like it's like Alice in Wonderland. When she asks the cat, how do you say in English? I don't know. The one the cat who's disappearing all the time. Where should I go? And she asks him, where do you want to go? And she says, I don't know. So he says, it doesn't matter where you go. This is a good. This is a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a good solution. If you know where you want to go, you will always get there. But then you will miss a lot of things that happen all the way on the way. Like when you talk with a mentee, there's always like a metaphor of doors that he's putting. That this is mentioning. Like I was going and you have to pay attention to the doors that appear when he's talking, and to wonder if he would like you to open the door. And if he would like, what is behind the door? And then you go down the corridor and there's a door, and you open the door and you go on and there's another door. And this way he can eventually come to what is bothering him, what the question that is bothering him, the thing that he wants to understand, the things that he wants to do. But if you beforehand know where to go to, why do you have to go there?
Yeah, and also it's who are we to judge whether this is a good step to take or not, or a good door to go through or not. It's to witness that this is the decision now, and if it's a fault or not, somebody will maybe call it a fault, another will call it differently. And what for me in the context of inclusion and a school for all is important, that it's not about something optimal, something perfect, the solution. It's all the time, and we have a lot of terms like this, you know. Lots of people of my profession, special ed teachers, say, I have to know where the child is staying, as if it's staying, and then I have to take it and pull it and bring it somewhere and support it so it comes from A to B. It's a very typical term, and I have to find optimal ideas and perfect this and that, and this doesn't exist at all. It's and as you said, we are very often thinking there's a solution A that fits to solution B or not, but there is no solution A or B. It's not so nice, but we really are creating the solutions, and we'll see whether they work or not. It's good enough to try.
Yeah.
It's also good to always have questions about what we think is right and wrong.
Yeah.
To have to reflect on it. One Saturday morning, my grandson tells me, let's go to this playing park. And I say, look, you're going to be here a few days. Let's not go today. Saturday, it's going to be full. It's going to be, it's not a big place, not nice. Let's stay home. We'll go tomorrow. And he says, Grandpa, let's go today. And I have all the right answers why it's a bad day. It's small, there'll be many children, we won't have fun. And then I say, maybe he's right, maybe I'm wrong. And we go.
And then
we go to the park, and there's no one there. We have a lot of joy, and we went to a movie afterwards, and we ate something together, and we had not 2 hours of fun in the park, we had a whole day of fun. Because I was sure that because I had questions about my knowledge and my knowing everything. And this is very important in mentoring relations.
And this is also actually answer another of my confusion, like during the mentoring, how you keep the balance between you give the enough like independency to the mentee and also you provide the enough support to them. And actually, I think in your case, in this story, this lovely story you spent with your nice afternoon with your grandchildren, I think it's not about the solution or it's only about the company. You accompany the whole process, and then during this process, there's so many things could happen. Probably it won't, like you won't enjoy, or probably there's like lots of other, you know, struggles when you go out, or you enjoy it. Whatever it happens, you just accompany. You just choose to believe their own choice, and you just choose to, okay, I don't know if you are right or not. I don't know if I have the right answer or not, but I try to believe you and I try to accompany you. And if you have some problems, and you can always come to me, and you have always someone to rely on. So I think this is for me, how to keep the balance actually. There is no, you know, the polarized like independence and the support. There's always something in the middle.
It's completely right what you said.
Yeah,
it's completely right, because one of the big aims of the mentor is to be very careful that his acts do not take away the independence and the sovereignty of the student. Like when he asks me for my opinion, when he asks me for my suggestion, I have to be very, very, when I act, I have to be all the time very attentive that I'm not depriving him of his independence. It's very, very important. Yeah. There are times where he will ask me, and it will be right for me to give him a push or to give him a pull. There will be other times that if I give him a push, I do it very wrong. But we talked about human rights before, but we didn't mention that the biggest human right that is not written in any human rights act is the right to be wrong and to make mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes. It's very important to make mistakes. It's very important to make mistakes, because when we do everything right, what is there to learn? When we make a mistake, that's a chance of learning. That's a chance of understanding, of developing. Making mistakes, if I think that the mentee is going to make a mistake by choosing that or that, it's my thoughts. It's only my thoughts. And if he will make a mistake, very good.
Yeah.
It's very good. Because like you said, I will be there. I will be there. I will be there with him. I will be there with his family. I will be there to support him. I will be there to help him understand if what was wrong, what to do with it, how to
to exist in a unexist way, right? Okay, and then so I think now it's time to. We have lots of examples and stories, lovely stories. So now I want to ask you, like, what are the key principles and the theories underlying the effective mentoring? So it's gonna be a little bit, you know, academic and boring. So what do you think? Like, I think there are lots of things or sources we can have we can rely on, or we can give the evidence to show all these things is logically. So
yeah, we mentioned Buber.
Yep.
You mentioned Epstein and White.
Michael White and David Epstein.
Epstein. With the narrative therapy.
I would mention Janusz Korczak.
Korczak, yeah, and his way of being with the children.
Being with children and taking away the barrier between grown-ups and children. Yeah. And understanding that the essence, the pure essence of human beings is not divided. That the childhood is not a preparatory stage for life, which is in the future. Yeah. Life is completely now, and children are like the metaphor of software and hardware. the child the minute he's born. He's not hardware that you have to put programs inside. He's software. He has everything inside. It will change, it will develop, but
I like
everything
this
is
metaphor.
inside.
Yeah.
It's a today metaphor, but I think we learned a lot from Janusz Korczak from that, in that point. And there's many more, but
Yeah, we mentioned some names already, but I would like to add Ryan Eisler, which is a supporter for me, because she makes clear that lots of what we experience is like a pyramidal system of dominating, and we are so very used to it, and we are also in the pedagogic field telling children, oh, there's a level A, level B, level C. We can even see this is individualization if we feed the child with this and that. We are so used, and then she says, no, there's nothing to climb up. And mentoring is not about bringing somebody on the career stuff to be a good functional member in the capitalistic consumerism society. It's a dance on a common floor. This is all we have to think, and this is for me a strong changing picture of what am I working for, what is my energy going to. If I change it completely, and it's so relaxing not to have to help somebody or to do it on my own, to climb up somewhere and then from there make some supervision or what is the mass crawling around. No, it's a dance we do, and these circles of dances, they will meet and they will exchange sometimes and so on. It's her kind of theory of partnerism. And she also wrote a book about the futures or the children of the future. And for me, as a textile teacher, it's great that she describes there's like a weaving chair, and you have certain things you can't change. You have to deal with them. She describes what it is, but then you have the choice of colors and different materials when you go through. It's for teachers very helpful, but then I would say I don't know whether we can call it a theory, but you wrote the book about mentoring, but we will have to wait a little bit and then it will be in English.
Or not,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that.
Yes.
Definitely, yes.
I want to add something. You talked about aims before.
Yeah, yeah.
If I can try to sum it up, I think mentoring, the way we build it in our school, but I'm talking about what we did in our school because I think it will be a very good idea that every school builds its own notion of mentoring. Taking the base of human rights, taking the base of all the ideas of inclusion, but build our own way of thinking. But never mind that. We came up with 3 aims. First aim is to help the child in the process of self-growth. To learn and understand, each one of us has points of view about life, about world, but we're not all the time conscious of them. We talk them, we use them, but self-growth, I mean, helping the student understand his values, his points of view about everything, every subject in the world. Just like you talked in the beginning, what is this? What I would like to do? What are my aims? Where I would like to go? First thing. Second thing, support. To be there for him in any situation, in any time, even if he calls me in the evening, and be there, yeah, and be there. I just remember. Passover, Easter, Jewish, is a very important holiday. it's a time where every family sits together, and the mentor gets a call, the mentor lady gets a call from her mentee. I just ran down because my father wants to hit me. What shall I do? And you can say, oh, the social workers, go to the police, go to the... But she got us, and we all involved. It's to be there. He has to know. He has to know that you are there. So that's the second thing. And the third thing is to, when he knows his goals, when he knows where he wants to go, help him understand what tools he needs to get there, and how he can acquire those tools, and who can help him acquire the tools. And assist them in the process where he tries to obtain the tools and work with them. These are main three aims. And in that, understand that the student, since he's unique and one of a kind, he's the biggest authority about himself. No other expert knows, even, doesn't matter if he has 3 doctorates in everything, knows more about him than himself. Okay? And this is very important to understand. You're talking inclusive? There was this student who was blind. He was 6 years old and blind. Because of cancer, his eyes were taken out. And each week, he was in a school. The school is a big campus of students from the age of 4 to 18. Everything is free. You go wherever you want, you do whatever you want. And each week, there was a special guide, instructor, who came with 3 buses to instruct him how to use, in the right way, his, how do you call it in English? His walking stick? His? And she explained to me that blind people have only 2 dimensions. And this is why she has to draw with him a map, a 2-dimensional map. Like, if you want to go to the library, you have to stand by the pole, and then you take 60 degrees, and you walk 3 steps, and then you come to the tree. And in the tree, you turn left. And she worked with him hours, making routes so he can go everywhere in school, so he can be free to go. But you know what happened the moment she went away? Puck, 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 puck. He took away the stick, put it in the air. He never went with the stick. He never used it. And he went everywhere in school. He had no problem. He would say, hey, please take me. And he would go, and nobody could understand how he does it. One time he climbed the tree. We have eucalyptus trees in school. And then from the top of, not the top of the tree, but very high, he shouted, "You are Dror! Come and take me down! Come and take me down!" He climbed up. And when he was working with her, he was very internalized. Like he was very stiff, and he was very. And when she went away, he was running like every child. And one time I said, "Look, I have to tell her something," and I told her. He doesn't need this instruction. You don't have to take 3 buses and come here. It's okay. And she said, you don't understand. Blind children, I told you, they have only 2 dimensions. If I will not work with him, he will not get around. The child, sometimes our knowledge is, there's nothing universal about people. People, the universal thing about people is that they're different. Yeah, that's the only universal thing about. Yeah. That's what we learned. So this is very important. The student, the child, even if he's 4 years old, he's the biggest expert in the world on the subject of himself.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. The art of mentoring is to make us fair. For you and your mentee. And this fair has to be confidential. Confidential, and the information coming out of the relation belongs to the mentee, not to you. It has to be intimate, so you can talk about everything, everything. Yesterday, I went to a walk with my boyfriend, and we sat under the tree, and he gave me a kiss, and it was not nice. I didn't like it. What should I do with it? I drink a lot of alcohol, and I find myself sometimes in strange places. I don't know what to do. Okay? It has to be open, intimate and open. Okay? It has to be safe. Somewhere where I will not get hurt if I say something wrong. Okay? It has to be safe. It has to be in a certain way mutual, equal. Not equal, but not like we're equal in that we're human beings, and we have all what human beings have, but the mentor has a role. He has I forgot my English. He has a role towards the mentee. The mentee doesn't have anything he doesn't have any responsibility towards the mentor. So it's equal, but not
symmetric.
That way equal, like
what was the word? I lost the word.
Symmetric.
Yeah.
It's equal, but not symmetric. There's responsibility of the mentor towards the mentee, not the mentee towards the mentor. Okay. And the last thing, it has to be authentic, in a way that the mentor and the mentee can bring themselves, not playing parts, being themselves. I think we have to say that for people who saw it, where are they? Over there? Where are they? Over there? So it's a huge subject. It's a huge subject. And there's a lot to learn and a lot to define and understand. And I think that what we talked here is just a little bit
of the aspect, right?
of something that can be very, 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 very effective and can change lives. Can really change lives of teachers and students.
Thank you for listening to the podcast of All Means All. In the show notes, there is a link to the chapter in the open textbook. There you can find the transcript of the video and more information on the topic.